I don't know how I feel about that push play though.
Oh,
Like it's I get it, it's unstoppable, right? And like the Eagles, I mean, they keep running it, and why wouldn't you?
yeah.
You know? But the problem is someone's gonna get like they're gonna change the rule, but I feel like someone's gonna get hurt.
As long as it's not anybody on our team. Do it with Daniel Jones. Do it with Daniel Jones. But somebody else did it this weekend, and I forgot. I was watching it, and they were like, "Oh my God, they're running the Eagles push play," and it was
What did
like,
I miss?
I was just talking about birds, talking about 3-0 birds. You know, a couple 3-0 teams here,
Eagles,
49ers, man. Eagles on a collision course. We got a game coming up in December around Christmas time. That is going to be, oh boy.
It's too early to talk about that, man. I feel like the NFL season is dope. Like, listen, I'm very happy with the NFL season right now. The picks are like fuego fire. We're clicking at like 67%.
Dude, you're
right now
I think week 2 for you lost 5 games or something. I was like,
we went, so far this season, we've gone 10-5. No, sorry, 11-5, 11-4-1, and then 10-6 this past week.
Yeah, the numbers are insane, man.
We're clicking. So I'm listen.
There's no NFL picks out there that are going at the clip you guys are. And what's nice is like all these other places, like you see these guys on TikTok giving out picks and whatever. And there's a lot of fudging, I feel, but you guys have your shit on the record, recorded.
Yeah.
You're not fudging anything. And what I like about it is that we talk about this all the time. It's not like you guys are coming in like experts, like this is who you need to pick. It's like you and
Rusty.
And Russell just like massaging the games, like talking it out, and then like, okay, and then coming to like a decision about where you're going to go. Like that.
And listen, sometimes we agree, sometimes we disagree. And that's just kind of like the bit of the pod. But the bigger thing for me is I'll have people who will send me a text message being like, yo, man, who you on this week? And I'm like, yo, the pod's been out for like 2 days. Like, you're really going to ask me like who I have out, when really support the pod. All you do is a simple click. That's all we ask for.
Like and subscribe.
But also beyond that, like industry wise, I know there's a lot of people out there making picks and it's week 3. So I'm not getting ahead of myself by any stretch. But I also like don't care about the industry from that angle of it.
Right.
And what I mean by that is at the end of the day, that's what the money's for, because I'm betting on my picks, right? So that's what the money's for as well. I don't need the industry stuff is like going to be the industry stuff because that's just the nature of, the biz. And, you got a whole lot of people throwing out picks and single game parlays and all that. We're actually trying to like have an in-depth conversation about how you make your bets, why you make your bets, and at least trying to be informed about your bets, right? And to me, that's the most important thing. And that's what's helped me win money. So that's really the bigger part of it too. And we talk about it. Lunch money bets. Cool. It's been working. Can't complain. Cashed out twice already this season and it's week 3. Yeah. So like we're up. We're doing well. But I do want to switch gears here because I feel like the city of Toronto's up, man. There's a lot going on.
The wave is cresting. Well, I don't know if it's cresting. It's pulling back and it's getting ready to crest.
Listen, you got the Jays who are like on the cusp of the playoffs right now, swinging the bats well. People are starting to get hyped, talk themselves into this team again. You got the Leafs who there's a huge debate about the new goal song and what's going on. They got preseason games going on. And of course, we got Dame to the Raptors.
Oh, so we're getting into Raptor talk. Last week, all I heard was I'm not talking about the Raptors.
Which way you guys want to go?
There's a new goal song?
There's a new goal song. I'm there.
There's not necessarily. There was rumors again.
Tell me what it is.
No. They haven't decided it yet. No. It's been rumored. It's just rumored that there's supposed to be a new goal song, but they haven't actually changed the goal song yet. There's just talk and whispers behind the scenes about the new Leafs goal song. And the funniest was shout out to Freed, right? Who I'll always say is like the nicest guy in the industry.
Super hardworking, really good at his job. And again, like the trifecta of being a great dude.
Yeah. Super nicest guy there is, right? But I saw the clip last night from the I think it was a pregame show or maybe the intermission, but he was saying how much he loves Hall & Oates, but they need to change his goal song. And I thought that was hilarious, right? Like, I thought that was hilarious because it's like, okay, it's not just us. You know what I mean? If you know what I'm saying, without getting too deep into what I'm saying here, like, it's not just us. Like, you got to change that up, man. And I don't know what to change it to. We can get into that. What do you guys think? Because I know what I think it should be.
Okay, listen. Hall & Oates and the Roots, greatest bands to come out of Philadelphia. Okay, so much respect for Hall & Oates. An unarguable list of absolute classics.
Hold on.
Okay,
I do want to clarify.
What I like and what
hold on. Much like Freed here, I'm gonna make this overtly clear. I'm not crushing Hall & Oates at all. Shouts to Hall & Oates. Those are classic bangers. Like, I'm not knocking Hall & Oates. I'm just saying it's 2023 and we got to switch things up here.
But what I like about it is that it's so different. It's not a banger that comes on. It's not it's not even to do with the Maple Leafs. This is a Philadelphia band. Yeah. And it's such a weird song to have as your goal song, and it makes me love it more. Like the strangeness, like when Matthews rips one.
Yeah.
And I got
because it's a happy song, right? It's such a happy song. Yeah. It's a vibes song, right?
So what do you want to change it to? What is the vibe that you want to switch the goal song to?
I need something more hype, but to me, this is going to sound like a weird call. But off the front end, I'll say Trophies by Drake, okay? And it's not because it's a Drake song. Those trumpets, picture Matthew sniping a goal and the trumpets just kicking. Dun, 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 dun. Like, you're telling me the ACC's not rocking when that clicks in?
No, man.
Heavy records on my demo. No, come on, man.
It's too down the line. It's too normal. It's too normcore.
Okay.
It makes too much sense, right?
Also, that lower bowl isn't bumping to that. That lower bowl is just going to be...
Well, they're not bumping to anything. The thing is, the lower bowl ain't bumping to anything.
I challenge anyone listening to this right now to go to their Apple or go to their Spotify, put on Trophies, have those trumpets kick in off the front end, and tell me you're not rocking your head. You're just sitting still listening to that.
But you say, and like you said about Hall & Oates, you're absolutely right. I don't want to downplay how dope that song is and how hard it goes, for sure. But what I like is that the Hall & Oates tune is so weird. It has nothing to do with the team. It's out of left field.
So they need to find something else in that realm for you.
Yeah. You got to make it weird.
Okay.
What's another weird goal song?
Yeah.
Like that's being used right now. I don't have the list of all the goal songs in the. I know that, but like here in Calgary, when the Flames score, they play TNT by AC/DC, which is a banger, a rock hard song, one of ACD's best in my opinion, but it makes too much sense.
Okay.
TNT.
I thought they played like Ring of Fire. Didn't they play Johnny Cash?
They used to.
Oh, they used
to.
That
up.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
It might be switched again this year because that's what teams do. But I think it's so for the Leafs, I don't want to say iconic because it's only been the goal song for like 4 or 5 years. Yeah. Maybe 3 years. Anyway, it's not so iconic, but it's cool for Leaf fans when they hear it. It's something different, you know?
Timmy, what do you got, man?
I think you let Austin just pick whatever he wants, and then 100%. He's going to have to hear it 60 times anyway. So it's like,
go.
Austin, go. Just hand him the aux cord and be like, hey, Austin.
Hand him the aux cord. What are you listening to this week, Austin?
Exactly. What are you listening to? And whatever is going to pump you up to score multiple goals in a game, like just give it to him. And that's it.
Let's start the campaign. We'll get people, we'll put the video out, get people to ask Austin what should be. Ask Austin. That's a hashtag.
Ask Austin.
Right? What should the new Leafs goal song be? And I love your rationale. What's going to get Austin hyped to score 65 this year?
Here, I'll give you the parlay. The anytime goal scorer parlay this year. Matthews and Huberdeau, putting it out there. That's going to hit a bunch of times this year. Each one of those guys scoring, one in the early game, one in the late game.
All I'll say
we're not trying to watch late games. We're not trying to watch
listen. Trying to get to the Dodger before last call, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
Yo, Tones is so cheesed right now listening to this.
I know.
I love it.
Don't worry, Jake Sanderson is going to have like 4 goals this year.
Yeah, and he's going to be there for 9 years or 8 years. So get used to it.
Okay, we got to talk about Dame, man, because this Dame stuff is kind of like, unless you guys still have leaf goal suggestions, or we're just gonna get people to write into us wherever you see the video that Timmy cuts up and puts on socials.
Austin.
Ask Austin, put it in the comments. What should the Leafs goal song be? I like it. Should the Raps get Dame Lillard? Let's talk about this Dame Lillard thing, because to me, this is so interesting, because this is like perfect, right in my NBA wheelhouse of just like total fuckery, right? And actual just like juicy gossip all at the same time. Like, how do you strike me in the heart? This is it. So I'm just going to say, Dame to the Raptors. These rumors, you asked me about it last week, Webby, and I was like, I don't want to talk about the Raptors. This is dumb. A week later, I still think this is dumb, but I feel like we have to kind of talk about it because we need to be the rational ones in the room. This is what I'm thinking here. Dame Lillard to the Toronto Raptors. No, I want to let you guys go first, because I'm going to go off for a bit, and because this is annoying to me, but I don't want to like just rain on everyone's parade right now. So I'm going to let you guys go first. Just when you hear the Dame Lillard to Toronto rumors, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Because I know we're recording this on a Tuesday. You guys are going to hear it on Wednesday. On Monday, Mark Spears blows up the NBA world because he goes on ESPN. They lead off NBA Today. Mark Spears says, quote, talked to two really high-ranking team executives today, and they said Toronto is the front runner, and they wouldn't be surprised if Dame Lillard ended up with the Raptors. Right now, there is no trade imminent. I do know Toronto is interested. Close quote. What say you guys when that comes across your timeline?
Would he show up to work? It's one thing to make a trade. It's one thing to trade for a guy. He's available to trade with the Portland Trailblazers. You're making the trade with the team. You're not making the trade with the player. And Dame Lillard's made it pretty known through different channels that there's basically one team that he wants to go to. And he's willing to do things to make it painful for a team that trades to him that's not on his list of teams to play for. So when I see the news come across that, hey, Toronto is in the lead for trading for Dame Lillard, is how much conversation have they had with the player as opposed to how much conversation have they had as opposed to the team?
So Mr. Spears was asked about this in the same conversation, and he said that he's not sure if Dame would, quote, like being in Toronto, but he feels like he's a professional and that he would show up and play. That's according to Mark Spears.
What about this team without Scotty Barnes on it makes Damian Lillard want to come in and play?
So that's not even the talk. The rumors, if we're diving into these rumors right now, and let's do this. Okay. Let's do this. We're here. We're in the weeds. The talk isn't really the talk is about Masai doesn't want to give up Scotty Barnes in this deal. Where have we heard that before? And that the deal that's on the table, it centers OG Anunoby. Then you get names like either Chris Boucher, Precious, like salary filler, Grady Dick, and Raptors, and picks. I'm sure first rounders that for the next few years. Now is what the Raptors have on the table. Versus, I'll say this: Tyler Herro and first round picks from Miami. That's the comparable.
Isn't OG up?
Yes. Webby, it's like you're segueing right into my soul right now, but continue.
I thought OG Anunoby is up after this year.
Correct.
After this year. So basically, you're trading Dame Lillard for a rental and picks.
Thank you.
Yes. No, I don't know if but we did this, Shelly. We did this before. We've had the same conversation.
But we haven't, though.
But we have with Kevin Durant. If you're not willing to give up Scotty Barnes for Kevin Durant, it's not. Again, it depends on how much you've talked to the player and the team. Yeah, if I'm talking to the team and I'm Masai and I'm the Portland Trailblazers, I'm not doing this deal without a young player under contract back.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm going to say this as a starting point. If we're really going to have back-to-back seasons of Scotty Barnes not being available for a trade for Kevin Durant or Dame Lillard, two top 75 players in NBA history, I'm going to need Scotty Barnes to maybe make the All-Star game next year. Maybe. Like,
show
is that too much to
at
ask?
Least. Show progression professionally.
Again, I'm going to repeat that. Damian Lillard and Kevin Durant are 2 top 75 NBA players of all time.
I forgot Dame made the list.
I'm just saying, if you're telling me that this man can't be put, like he's not on the table for either of those guys, I might need to see a little more from Scotty Barnes next year. I'll say that. 2, I'm going to go back to this Mark Spears quote, okay? Because my guy says, no trade is imminent, which means they're not close to a deal. So if you're not close to a deal, how can you be the front runner in a deal that doesn't exist? How does that make sense? What does that mean?
I think it's that question of maybe they've talked to one side more than the other, right? Like Clearly. They've talked to the team more than they've talked to the player. So no deal is imminent.
I'm going to ask you this. How many times have you seen Dave? I feel like about a month ago across my timeline, and first off, shouts to Mark Spears. Mark Spears is one of the best NBA reporters, writers there are in the NBA. So I'm not slandering Mark Spears. Mark Spears is doing his job. But this is what I'll say. We've seen Dame Lillard sit down with Mark Spears within the past couple months. We know that they have a long-standing relationship. Is it plausible that while the Miami Heat and the Blazers have been tap dancing around making a deal for the last however many months, Dame only wants to go to Miami. Miami's not raising their offer. No one else is going to raise their offer because they know Dame probably isn't going to be happy to go anywhere else but Miami. Is it plausible at all that Dame's camp leaks to Mark Spears, hey, the Raptors are really in this just to try to make some more scuttlebutt conversation about maybe Miami might raise their offer if they think the Raptors are really in on this? Because here's the thing. Nothing's changing. This deal has been in talks for months and months and months. Everybody knows what everyone's offer is. Masai's known that he's not going to put Scotty Barnes in the deal. He's not going to wake up tomorrow and be like, you know what? Actually, I changed my mind. I'm going to put Scotty Barnes in this deal. If he was going to do that, he could have done that months ago, right? When he was panicking after Fred left and they had to get Dennis Schroeder, right? Like the Raptors have been in this position for a long time.
FIBA world champion, Dennis Schroeder.
MVP of the tournament.
In a tournament that really, really matters.
Exactly.
Yeah, with best on
player,
best.
Hold on. Best player in the world.
Best player in the world. Best player.
He's the best player in the world.
He's the best player in the world.
In the world.
He's the best player in the world.
So this whole thing makes no sense, right? Like, and the other side of this media thing, and you know, let's be honest here. A lot of media content now is click-based, click-oriented. There might not be an easier fan base to engage online and get clicks than a Raptors fan base. Okay. This Dame Lillard stuff, the part that someone needs to explain to me, and maybe you guys can help me out here. Okay. Webby, you mentioned it. OG has 1 year left on his deal, right? So you need to explain to me why the Portland Trail Blazers are going to trade away their franchise player for 1 year of OG Anunoby, picks, and salary filler. Let's say they think OG is that dude. Right? And cool. OG can be the guy. Let's say, let's go there. Okay. Even if that's the case, right? They'd have to re-up him as part of this deal for it to make sense, right? Meaning you'd have to go to OG and make a deal and say, hey, we want you to be the guy here. Let's re-up your contract so that we can make this deal work as part of this. No, right? Like that would make sense. But the part that doesn't make sense to me is why would OG want to re-sign in Portland right now? What logic does that make? So Portland's going to trade their franchise player for 1 year of OG Anunoby? That makes no sense. That makes zero sense to me. How, like, that's a part where I'm just like, guys, what are we doing here? Clicks, that's engagement. Why, I get it, but like,
that's why I think
we be real.
You might be right about. I think that's where you might be right about, like, because Spears wasn't the only one. Didn't Woj come out and tweet that, hey, while this trade may not happen right now, the wheels are turning and things are moving on the Damian Lillard trade. The Spears report comes out. So is this Lillard trying to turn up the heat on the market? Like, are these leaks coming out from him?
I think it's coming from the Blazers trying to get more out of the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat are basically saying, hey, we know Dame wants to come here, so here's our offer. The Blazers are like, well, we want more than that. And Miami, rightfully so, is saying, well, why would we negotiate against ourselves? Like, who are we bidding against?
Yeah.
So even when you add in another team, right, and you say, oh, well, there's other teams in the league that have interest, and so many of these stories about the Raptors are like, well, the Raptors are definitely interested. You know what? I'm also interested in Rihanna. That means literally nothing. Literally nothing, right? Well, so cool. They're interested. They're in the race. What does that mean?
But not only that, but then, like you say, Masai comes out and says, well, we're not going to put Scotty Barnes in the deal. So then if you're Miami, then you're like, well, again, now you've just defeated yourself, because now we're negotiating against you trading Dame Lillard for 1 year of OG Anunoby. My Herro and picks
Can I ask you guys a question?
Looks better than that.
Let me ask you guys a serious question. Forget about their contracts for 1 second, then we'll add the contracts in. But OG versus Tyler Herro, who would you rather have on your team?
Without the contracts factoring in?
Yeah.
OG.
Really?
Yeah.
Timmy?
It depends on your team, right? Like,
okay,
I guess
that's fair. So if you're okay, no, but you're making a trade. Let's say you're Portland. Let's say the contracts don't matter. Yeah. So you're the Portland Trailblazers. Who would you rather have on your team?
If it's just the play, we're not talking picks. We're
not talking contracts. Let's bring in the contracts afterwards. Or
like, based on that team structure, they would want OG, right? Because they have a bunch of guards.
Okay.
And if you're going to pay someone, then you're going to pay OG.
So then let me ask you, who's better? Who's just the better player?
I mean, Herro gets buckets.
That's what I'm like. Yeah. Tyler Herro is. Here's my thing. Okay, shouts to OG. No, like I'm not.
I like OG. I like his game. I think he would be awesome on the Sixers. OG would be a great Sixer.
Yes, Tyler Herro is a better basketball player than OG Anunoby. We watched Tyler Herro give the Lakers buckets in the NBA. No, not in the NBA Finals. In the conference finals when they were making the run to the finals, and then Herro was injured, right? No, he played in that finals. It was the last one.
No, he did play in the finals.
Yes, it was against the Heat. It was against the Lakers. Sorry.
He was mean mugging LeBron.
Yes. Yeah. We watched Tyler Herro.
That was bubble finals.
That was bubble
finals. Yeah. We watched Tyler Herro get buckets. You can say it's the bubble. Okay, cool. He still dropped more points and assists and rebounded the same number as OG last season when they were both healthy on the floor, right? Tyler Herro is a better player than OG Anunoby in my books, okay? Tyler Herro, you can say he has more freedom on offense. Cool. We've watched the Raptors long enough to know all of the multiple chances OG Anunoby has had year in and year out to be like, hey, OG, take the next step this year. Take the next step this year. And we haven't seen it. Tyler Herro, I've seen him give buckets in the playoffs. I have not seen OG Anunoby give buckets in the playoffs. It's not a thing I've seen happen.
Obviously, OG is a better defender by leaps and bounds.
Way better defender, yes.
But you're right. If it's my team, who would I rather like? Tyler Herro can get me buckets.
Tyler Herro also he can get buckets. He can shoot the three. He can create offensively. Like OG cannot create offensively. That's just a realistic thing. But overall, Portland trading away Dame Lillard for OG. I just can't see it. Maybe it happens, cool, but the chatter that I'm seeing online, I'll ask people to just pay attention to the full quotes, okay? The full quotes of what people are saying. The Raptors are in the race. The Raptors are interested. Like, that's what people are saying. And it's like, no shit. I'm sure there's a lot of teams that are interested. But does it actually mean that they're going to make a deal to send OG Anunoby to Portland for Dame Lillard? So what other thing? I want to ask you something.
Okay.
A lot of people are talking about the Raptors have done this before when they did this with Kawhi. Is that the same? Is this the same situation?
No.
Please explain.
They don't have the firepower on the roster to be able to get a player like Kawhi. You know, they gave up DeRozan, who was an all-star, right?
Yeah,
and I know that his struggles in playoffs but he was a reliable scorer for the Raptors, one of their best players on their team. And sorry, OG just isn't that. But the market dictating what people have available now for Dame, it changes it a bit. But yeah, it's different than the Kawhi deal. But I have a hypothetical for you.
Can I talk about Kawhi for a sec?
For both of you. Yeah. Let's do Kawhi and then come back to me.
You guys know me well enough to know that I feel like a place in my soul for Kawhi Leonard. I get emotionally hurt when people disrespect Kawhi Leonard, okay? Or when we forget the details of what happened when Kawhi Leonard was here. First off, I hear you, Webby, but I'm like blocking you out right now. First off, this is not the same thing. Dame Lillard is not Kawhi Leonard, and the rest of the Raptors team that they had then is not the Raptors team that we have now, okay? This is not the same situation, okay? Let's rewind and go back. First off, Kawhi Leonard was coming in for one season, okay? He was injured, and so he had a vested interest in showing up wherever he got traded to because he needed to prove to the rest of the league that he was still that dude. So at the end of the day, even if he didn't like coming to Toronto, he still had to show up because the following year, he was going to ask for max money, and he had to be able to prove that he was still that dude. So at the end of the day, he needed that. Dame is locked into a long-term deal. Dame can, mess around and like play, but not really play, sit out the second night of a back-to-back, like do whatever. But also the rest of the Raptors team is not ready to compete at the same level that championship team was. We knew that you swap out Kawhi for DeMar and the top level talent that was, then also adding the championship experience in 3-and-D guy and Danny Green, that was elevating your roster. This is not the same instance. Dame Lillard and Scotty Barnes and Pascal Siakam and Jakob Poeltl, maybe that's a top 4 team in the East. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe you give someone a go in the second round. You probably do, maybe you can mess around and hit the conference finals. Maybe. But I still see that as a stretch, right? There's not much of a bench behind you. Like, it's just not the same thing at all. We need to stop talking about it as if Dame is Kawhi Leonard, because he's not. And if the rest of that Raptors team, which was a 50-win team year in, year out, they just kept losing to LeBron year in, year out. These two things are not the same, guys. Just not the same.
So that was going to be my hypothetical. Say Masai pulls it off, doesn't have to give up Scotty Barnes, gives up OG, Precious, couple picks, Grady Dick, whatever you need to do. Where do the Raptors finish next year in the East? Are they playing for a conference championship? They're not better than Boston.
No.
They're not better than Giannis.
No.
Are they better than the Knicks?
Yes.
Are they better than Philly?
Close. I think they're in that like 4-5 range.
Yeah, I'd say
that's where close. I would put them, I think.
But even then, I mean, your team is Dame Lillard and
Pascal
and Scotty Barnes.
Yeah.
That's your big 3.
You need a leap from Scotty Barnes.
Yeah. Like, I was going to say it all kind of depends on Scotty. Like, if Scotty's supposed to be that dude, then the Raptors can go pretty far. But I don't know. We didn't do much last year. So
he almost took a step back.
Well, your starting lineup, your team would end up being what? You'd have Dame Lillard, Gary Trent Jr., Pascal, Scotty, and Poeltl. And then off your bench is going to be one of Boucher or
no, best Boucher's player in the world, right? Dennis Schroeder, man.
Oh yeah, Dennis Schroeder comes off the bench. Schroeder. Yeah, he's your 6th man. Okay, cool. Yeah, Dennis Schroeder's still there. Bench? If Dame, I mean, you're starting Dame and Schroeder. Who's playing defense?
Schroeder backcourt?
Who's playing defense there? Come on. I don't know if that
nobody.
Gary Trent Jr. though, like I'm not a Gary Trent Jr. guy. Sorry.
So hold on. Who's better than the Raptors in that scenario in the East? Milwaukee, we say, right? Giannis. Do you think Milwaukee's still better than the Raptors? Boston. Okay.
Cleveland's probably better.
I don't really mess with Cleveland.
Donovan Mitchell and those big guys.
Not really buying Cleveland.
Miami,
because they didn't get Dame.
Yeah, right.
Well, do you know what I love?
Tyler Herro's averaging 35 a game.
Do you know what I love the most? The fact that the Raptors fan base, they go 0 to 100, to quote Drake, real quick. The fact that it went from you're seeing the memes of Dame Lillard in a Raptors uniform to somehow it turned into Dame Lillard and Giannis. I'm like, yo, guys, what are we doing here? Like, how did we go from?
I love
this
the
Raptors
delusional
team right
Raptors.
now?
I love the delusional Raptors fans.
It's all over my timeline.
It's my favorite.
It's like
my favorite.
I used to be that guy.
I know.
To be the delusional Raptor guy, but now I don't care. I don't know.
They won the chip. Like, there's no point in being delusional anymore. Like
Drake doesn't even show up to games. Drake knows that this team isn't serious. He doesn't even show up to games anymore.
Drake doesn't. Yeah, they're not his squad anymore.
Didn't I see him at a concert in was it in Phoenix, saying that he's gonna go to all their games or some shit like that when he walked out with Booker and KD?
Why is that surprising? This is why we can't use the man's song for a goal song for the Leafs.
But wait, do you blame him? Like, I'd watch Phoenix games all the time. Like, I'm not watching the Raptors. I don't blame him.
Oh man, when is this? So they're saying we're gonna know by the time people are listening to this. We might know the result. Well, because they're saying media day is next Monday, I want to say, and so
something would have.
They don't want Dame Lillard to show up to media day, or just have the questions about media day be all about that. So I could see the world in which they try to get that done, and that's why you're getting the uptick in stories, right? Yeah. Because
so he's going to Miami because like this is just the last ditch effort to try to get more, right? Like he has to be going to Miami.
Yeah, that's what I think, right?
I think that's where we've landed. Yeah.
Welcome to Miami, Dame Lillard. We could have been here months ago. This is what
I'm saying. Welcome to Portland, Tyler Herro. Like, get the shots up.
It's just
get them
like
up.
Here's my thing.
Think about the shooters on that team. Don't they have shooters? Yeah. With Scoot, I kind of like that. Now I'm kind of in on the Trailblazers.
I don't get how the Raptors. I mean, yeah. See, this is why I get depressed about the Raptors again, because we're going to be in another season going into the fact where we wouldn't put Scotty Barnes in a deal for another NBA superstar, and rumors of trading OG for multiple first-round picks. This is what we're looking forward to this season, man. This is going to be tough, man.
3 first-round picks for OG. Okay,
that's amazing.
We got to talk about the hottest team in baseball, the Philadelphia Phillies.
We're not talking about the Philadelphia Phillies.
Before we get into it, I said it the other day. You look at the 2 hottest teams in baseball right now, and they are the Phillies and the Jays. And how awesome would it be? I know the Blue Jays fans are out there. How awesome would it be 30 years later? Phil's Jays in the World Series.
Yeah, that would be pretty crazy.
I don't think it'll happen because I don't think either team is going to get to the World Series. I think it's the Braves to lose. Like, I don't think why are we playing? But I think that the 2 best teams, the teams that have their stock on the rise, as we're going to get into like really meaningful postseason baseball, which is one of the best things on planet Earth, where you're standing up, looking at the TV, watching every pitch. It's so great. And everybody loves the feeling. And I'm just excited to root for those 2 teams in the playoffs, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's super dope too, just thinking of how the MLB completely flipped everything by adding the extra wild cards. I think that's really cool what they did. It just made September baseball matter so much more. And also, I think it's kind of cool that first round where it's like just 3 games on the road you got to play if you're the lower seed. Like the way that they did it, it's so much more strategic. But the other part of this, and from a Jays angle, and I've said this, we've been doing this pod for a couple months now, and I've said this, the Jays get in, their rotation has been really good this season. Yeah. And that's what matters the most when you get into playoff baseball. And so you got Vladdy and Springer getting hot at the exact right time that you need it. I mean, just look at I urge Jays fans to just sit back and enjoy the ride. Don't get your hopes up too high. Don't, come in negative like, oh, you hate this team still. Just enjoy the ride of being a fan, right? Root for your team, cheer for your team. You got good players, you got good pitching. Let's go.
Listen, and look at the team's, quote unquote best players, your Vlads, your Springers, those guys, and look at their home road splits. Because I know that they've been hitting way better on the road this year than they have at home. And so even if you have to go into a different barn for that like 3-game series, like it's awesome to go in there unafraid. Like, hey, we're not just a home cooking team. We can go into other ballparks and rake. And so I mean, that's and going in and stealing those games on the road. That's what the Phillies did last year in St. Louis. I think that first wild card, we had 3 in St. Louis, and boom, you win that first one on the road. Then you got all that momentum, baby. It's awesome. It's awesome.
It's also the interesting part of the second wild card, right? Because if you get the second wild card spot, you play Minnesota, as opposed to getting if you get the third wild card spot, you play Minnesota. The second wild card spot, you're playing Tampa, right?
Yeah.
Is that how that goes?
Yeah.
I mean, Tampa is just such a weird team. I never understand how they're good every year, but they are. They just figure out a way to get it done with the guys that they have. But the Jays, I'm excited, man. I think it'll be really cool to see the Jays in the playoffs. It's good to see them, just playing and having everything click at the exact right time. And have them, if they come back, if you win the wild card series and then imagine that first home game back in Toronto, you'll have the hype machine will be in full force at that point, right?
Especially because you'll be the lower seed. So you're going to be on the road again for those first 2 games, split one of those games. And then when you come back home 1-1, woo,
what's Alec Manoah saying right now?
So you brought up a good point though about MLB and the wild card and the changes that they made to the playoff format, right? And then the other big story about the MLB this year is the renewed interest, people going back, people watching it on TV because of the pitch clock. And it's so interesting to me that a sport as old and as ingrained in tradition and as many as like a lot of people think like really dug into their ways of the past, to see a league like that change and be willing to change and be progressive. I would have never thought 20 years ago that you would tell me that the MLB is the most progressive sports league of the big 4. Like that would be insane to me.
Change.
But they're down to make these drastic changes, and I'd love to see that more in other sports. I think hockey could really benefit with some cool rule changes. Obviously, the NFL does tweak some things, but the NBA really should look into just even tweaking things here or there, because in the past they've been known as the more progressive league, introducing a 3-point shot and things like this in the past. It would be cool to see them kind of continue that trend.
Yeah, no, I got you. I think baseball too, the key part about that is how much of a regional sport that is, right? So you root for your team. You're not really checking for, other teams on, in different divisions or different coasts or whatever. So I think that part of it, just the fact that now I think about it, fitting in a Jays game in 2.5 hours or under 3 hours for sure, I'm way more likely to try to fit that in, as opposed to sometimes, I remember playoffs will be on once playoffs are on, and then you have NFL and then you have NBA starting, and it's like, yo, man, a game will start at 7 and you're flicking around and you're into like the second game of the TNT doubleheader on a Thursday, right? Yeah. It's like 10:30. That baseball game's in like the 5th inning, and you're like, what is happening right now?
Yeah. Right? It'll be interesting to see the numbers for the baseball playoffs because of kind of how watchable it's become. And to see more people, because obviously even when the games were 9 hours long, or for a playoff game sometimes 5 hours, people would still watch. But now I think it might be it might bring even more of an audience.
But I also think too,
playoff baseball's the fucking best, man.
But the other side of all the changes in baseball, right? It's also like the change of play has changed a lot, right? Like it's not just home run or strikeout anymore. You're seeing a lot more stolen bases. You're seeing a lot more just hits, like triples and doubles, and you know what I mean? And I think that part has also changed things up and made the game more exciting, as opposed to you're just sitting there watching a home run or a strikeout and then 2 minutes in between pitches, right?
Right.
So that's super exciting. But we still say, as much as baseball's on the come up, as much as the NBA can steal headlines for just all the juiciness, we know the NFL is still king.
And number one.
The NFL reigning its supremacy because of things where everyone's already tuned in on Sunday going crazy, but then it hits the timeline that Taylor Swift is at the Chiefs game.
Somebody's got a movie coming out. Get her in front of NFL cameras immediately. It's America. It's North America's greatest marketing mind. Unbelievable.
Yeah,
she's a genius.
Yeah. So are you buying? I think you kind of just answered this, but What do you make of this whole Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce thing?
It's like I said, she's got a movie coming out in 2 weeks.
Yeah. And they have their Kelce doc that's out right now.
Yeah,
too, right?
yeah, it makes too much sense. Do I think they've hung out before? Sure. I mean, I'm sure they maybe have gone to a dinner or whatever, but no. Sorry, guys. This is not a whirlwind romance, okay? This is not the newest Hugh Grant, Julia Roberts movie, guys. This is like people need to make
Notting
money.
Hill?
Yeah, it was on in the house. It was on in the house.
I was like, Webby, that's an interesting reference.
It was on in the house. Like she was like, it was Sunday night, and I was like, the late game starting. And she was like, nah, Notting Hill.
Is that the one where she's like in the bookstore?
She's the movie star, and he's the normal guy. Yeah. So
great movie.
So that is not what this is. That is not what Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are. It's a cool, but it's insane how like it permeated everywhere.
Everywhere. That shit took over the timeline on an NFL Sunday. And for me, I'm always seeking out the value. And I can't lie to you. I was watching another game, and when it came across the timeline that she was at the game, I immediately went to the app to be like, okay, Travis Kelce, anytime touchdown. Like, here's the one thing you got to be honest about, okay? There's no way that you're going to have the rumors swirling and Taylor Swift shows up to the game. She's sitting beside Travis Kelce's mom's in the box upstairs. And Patrick Mahomes is not like, yo, I got to hook up my boy. Right. In a game that you're going to blow out the Bears anyway.
It follows the script. Like, of course they're going to score a bunch of points. Of course they're going to work everything they can to get Kelce into the end zone. Like, it followed the script, guys.
Of course.
There's movie tickets that need to be sold here.
That Travis Kelce anytime touchdown was just free money.
Easy money.
Free money, right? It's like we say Vegas is never giving away money. Well, that was free money on that one. But to your point, Travis Kelce, there were pictures of them leaving the game in Travis Kelce's like convertible.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Celebs trying to keep a low profile. You're not leaving the game in a convertible.
With the titties out, like the roof's going to be up.
Say the car's topless. Yes.
The roof's up when you're leaving.
Sorry, that joke.
You know how many? That's just how do I?
Heads right there.
That's how I refer to top-down convertibles. Look, they got the titties out.
Because you're of a certain age, and if you're of a certain age from the hip hop circles, don't say the car's topless. That's just our vernacular.
That's it.
But yeah, they're not trying to, like, come on. We know this is a promotional stunt. Are they like hooking up? Are they actually dating? I don't know. I also don't really care, to be honest. I just find it more hilarious and find it funny more than anything. Because like Taylor Swift, you guys said it. She is one of the best marketers. They're like, whoever her marketing team is behind her, they're really, 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 really good because she's everywhere all the time. And it's the same thing, acting really surprised. The screaming of the let's fucking go when he scored the touchdown. That was
in the script. It was in the script. Let's fucking go. Okay. So have you guys seen the TikTok trends of the girls telling their boyfriend, like, oh, isn't it crazy how Taylor Swift put Travis Kelce on the map and made him famous? And the guys all react like, what are you talking about? I want to trace those posts back to the first person who posted that. And I guarantee they're like Taylor Swift's assistant or part of that marketing team. I think that whole TikTok trend is even coming from the Taylor Swift camp, just to get it out there and having people talk about it. It's unbelievable.
It is a great marketing ploy by Taylor Swift for sure. It's exactly the same thing. Like, you got to remember when you're at this award show that you only agreed to show up to because they agreed to give you an award. You have to act surprised when you get there.
We've got a buzzer on your shoulder, and every time the camera's on you, we're going to buzz it. So you're just ready to do some wacky, wild stuff and like be Taylor and like.
You know what I really wanted? Remember a couple months ago when that Taylor Swift dance from her concert was going viral? I really wanted Travis Kelce to do that dance after he scored the touchdown. That's what I really wanted out of life.
Sick. That
would have been the greatest thing.
Awesome. That would have been awesome.
See, that's why he's not a good marketer. I
think
lean into it more.
She was embarrassed by that, and like maybe that was part of the deal.
Yeah.
When you scored, you can't do the Taylor dance. Okay, it's part of the deal.
Did you see the fake cheat sheet that she had at
No.
this like lined paper which has like the best Chiefs players of all time, or like Pat Mahomes is number whatever. So make sure you like.
I did see that. That's
it's so
hilarious.
funny. It's so
the internet
funny.
was so great though. All the conspiracies about how they snuck her out in the popcorn box out of the suite. Because all the fans were like waiting outside for her to come out, and she never did. And then this huge like popcorn box comes out. They're like, "She's in there! She's in there!"
Tackle it.
That's
okay,
amazing.
guys. I have a very important question to ask.
Which means it's not important at all. Which means I love it.
Is Taylor Swift hot?
We've discussed this already.
Have we done this already?
Yeah, we've discussed this.
I think
I'm not mad at Taylor Swift.
I'm not mad at her, but like, I don't know. There's people fond of her. She's very talented, but like, I don't know. On my list of like,
I think what we said last time was that her music elevated her to like a 10. Where if she was
10,
I don't give her a 10.
like her music and like
elevates her wherever.
She's not Bryn, okay? A 10.
Based on the music, based on like superstardom. If she was just walking down Ossington, she's like a 6. But like because she's where she's at and she has all these albums.
We live in Toronto, fam. Like the Taylor Swifts are
there's
walking
a lot
along
of
Queen West every day, bro.
I didn't realize how tall.
And that's not a knock. That's not a knock. I'm just saying we live in a beautiful city.
I didn't realize how tall she is. She's almost 6 foot.
I saw that. Yeah.
She has a long back.
She's got a long back.
I'm just gonna let that one go. I don't want the Swifties coming at me, but like all the people posting, because there's this like awkward thing going on as well, where people keep posting Travis Kelce's ex, and then posting Taylor Swift and being like, Travis Kelce fumbled the bag, and it's like,
I bet I would. Yeah. That's why.
No, but it's
Kelce
like
can date way. This sounds so like welcome to Misogyny Corner.
Hold on
here on the pod.
No. But hold on a second. Travis Kelce is the same guy that had his own dating reality show, right? So we do know that there's a side where Travis Kelce's team behind the scenes is also playing the game. And if this Taylor Swift thing goes right, and let's say they make a deal where it's like, hey, we're going to hang out for a bit, but that's it. We're just friends. After that, all he did was boost his stock. All he did was, and nothing bad happens because obviously this is all fake and just a publicity stunt. But like, nothing bad happens. All he did was just boost his stock. I saw all the Darren Ravel tweets about Travis Kelce jerseys going through the roof, which is a weird thing because like, who's like Taylor Swift fans are buying Travis Kelce jerseys?
I would think
that's a weird. Yeah, but that's like, I don't know.
They're weird. But they're a weird fan base.
The one thing, so to close here, that I want to ask you guys about is Taylor Swift is not doing the Super Bowl halftime show, but Usher is.
Hey, for us old guys.
Thoughts on Usher doing the Super Bowl halftime show?
I saw that, and like the same reaction you had to me saying the titties was out, I had to Usher. It's like, good. Like, that's one for us. Usher's been around since
that promo was amazing.
Usher's been around since I was in like, I mean, when did that first?
I remember my grade 9. Hold on, I remember my grade 9 dance, and that song was out because I'm gonna age myself here drastically, but when I was in grade 9, that was the same year that BET became available in Canada.
Oh, nice.
And so the influx of R&B and hip hop whenever you wanted, it was just like exploded. So at that time, I remember was when he came out with, was it You Remind? No, not You Remind Me. What was that first song? You Make Me Wanna. You Make Me Wanna.
Yeah. And so that would have been 9th grade, 8th grade for me. That's a tune, man. And that's like an old school, like he's going to play. Listen,
he's got hits.
I don't mean for this to be the Usher pod, but the man's got an undeniable catalog of hits.
Oh, yeah. No. Usher has hits. Like, if we're talking like a verses, there's only certain R&B dudes that could even try and come close to having a verses with Usher. And maybe it's like Arkells would maybe beat him, which we'll leave that off to the side and not deep dive into that. But like Chris Brown, maybe.
No.
Chris Brown
Usher's been around way longer than Chris Brown.
But I'm just talking hits here. I'm saying Chris Brown could give Usher a go.
I don't know how many other people could. That 10-year stretch that Usher was around that Chris Brown wasn't. Usher's got like 6-7 number ones.
Yeah, like Confessions is just, I mean.
The Weeknd might beat him.
What? Get out of here.
I don't think so.
Log off. Get out. Get out. Not even a chance. Not even a chance. I would put Chris Brown and Weeknd more on the same level than I would Usher. Come on, man.
Yo,
I know your Toronto is showing, okay? Your 6 is showing right now. Weeknd's got some incredible songs, and he's done it at a consistent level. But again, he's only been around 10 years. Usher's been around since we were in 8th grade, bro.
Yeah, but has Usher come out with anything recently?
Dude, Weeknd doesn't have a song that touches Yeah. You don't understand how Yeah was everywhere for a year, possibly 2 years. That song was everywhere.
I mean, we had to listen to fucking Blinding Lights for 2 years straight.
Not as big as that Yeah song was.
I don't know though, man. When
Come on, bro.
That Confessions album though, right? Like there's not a lot of things that like comes close to that. Like that was just like a just smash out of the clouds, out of the stratosphere. Like Usher had a run where it was just like, listen, man, like from You Remind Me to You Got It Bad to Let It Burn to like, I don't know, dude. Man. Usher, oof. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think Chris Brown could give him a go. I think that The Weeknd could probably give him a go. But I don't know who. Like, there's not many people, man. The Ignition remix guy. Maybe he's the only person that could really.
What if the Leafs went with an Usher song?
I was gonna say.
I said that. Do you know what I was gonna say? No. What if became the Leafs goal song?
I'm down for that.
Dude, it was so. Timmy, you were in 4th grade and
2004.
People were just absolutely going nuts to Yeah in the club.
No.
Like, they'd play it over and over and over again.
Trust me, I know. My brother would dance to it all the time, and I would have to fucking hit play for him. But
so is Lil Jon going to be at the Super Bowl? 100%.
Well, the other part is I thought they mentioned yes would be my answer to that. But I also thought that I heard he's the first guest announced. So there might be other people added onto this, which is interesting. Because do you go bigger than Usher?
Luda, I like.
Oh, Luda. Yeah, I mean, gotta show Luda some love.
Could you bring in Missy Elliott there too?
I'm just gonna say 2004, that lineup of Confessions, when your singles are Yeah, followed by Let It Burn, then Confessions Part 2, My Boo, then Caught Up. Like that's your first 5 singles off of Confessions, bro.
Part 2 is just wow.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like that's better than some people's lifetime catalogs, and that's just one album. Then my guy took a little hiatus and then came back with that Young Jeezy song, "Loving This Club." Come on, man. My guy was on a hiatus and came back with that track, and I was like, yo.
Listen, but this is a total millennial Super Bowl pick, man. We've progressed beyond Tom Petty and the Rolling Stones.
No,
and now we're
old, man.
I know, but we're old. We're the old people. We're the people whose shit is now on the Super Bowl.
Yes, it's true. I had that realization last year watching. No, sorry, it was the Dr. Dre year.
Yeah,
which was 2 years ago. That's when I was like, "Yo, this is the best thing ever," and I caught myself, and I was like, wait a second here.
I never thought Dr.
I'm now
Dre,
that guy.
Snoop Dogg, who had like the weed logo and his hat buzzed out in the video, is now doing the fucking Super Bowl.
Well, it's like 50 Cent doing the upside down sit-ups. And I was like, yo, we're old, man. Like in the club, like I was at a bar and I'm like, the people in this bar get this, but not on the level that they should get this.
Again,
which tells me that I'm old, right?
Yeah.
Enjoy this a little too much. So will Usher's, if it's just Usher, are you saying, do you expect Usher's performance to be better or worse than Rihanna's?
Was Rihanna?
Did you guys enjoy Rihanna's performance last year?
Dude, I was too wrapped up in that game. I don't even think I remember the halftime performance. I was a little invested in the game going on.
That's fair. That's fair. As you should have been, because you knew that Patrick Mahomes was coming in that second half, bro.
I was on like 4 phone calls at halftime. It was like, I don't think I watched Rihanna.
Fair enough, my dude. All right, so basically we've answered all the questions. The Raptors aren't getting Dame Lillard, right? The Niners and Eagles are still putting in work. Usher, nobody in R&B can beat Usher in verses, and the Leafs goal song should be "Yeah." We solved all the problems on today's pod, boys.
And Bryn is hotter than Taylor Swift.
Oh, can I leave you guys with some homework for
next
week?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to be here next week, but
okay.
Have you guys been watching Love Is Blind yet?
Yeah.
No, I have not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one might be an all-timer.
Okay.
Dude, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
How many episodes in are we?
Timmy, she said she was Puerto Rican, and I was like, popcorn. Yeah. All right.
Yo,
You're Puerto Rican.
In?
Let's go.
How many episodes?
Dude, there are only 4 episodes in, and it's all bangers.
When does the next one come out?
I don't know.
Dude,
that's when they get out of the pods. It's gonna be insane.
I knew she was crazy, but okay. Hold on, I want to pull one thing before we keep going.
It's crazy.
So you know how they have the other girl, like we're following like 4 storylines, and you know they're gonna do the whole fucking proposal thing. But I want the show about all the other girls that they're not talking about. There is a blonde. Do you know who I'm talking about, Timmy Hags?
Is it the one they keep showing but doesn't have a storyline?
And she's like booty popping, and she's like, yeah, dude, we need to follow her. I want to know what
we see her outside the pods. I think they
gotta bring her in, party, dude. Yeah. They missed out because this girl is awesome. She just seems like a great time.
Love is Blind, man. It's a show. Love is Blind might be the show where I'm always like, I can't watch this, and then you turn on one episode, and then you're like, all right, when's the next episode?
Dude, that show is turning into a dynasty. Like, how many championships have they won? Like every season, I feel
like. No, the second season was no good.
Okay, so maybe from like season 3 on has been bangers.
Yeah. So
like
I remember
perennial championship.
Watching the first episode of the first season, and I had no idea what it was, and it started, and I got 15 minutes in, and I was like, "Oh, so this is like this is a show, like it's a fake movie about this fake reality show," and then I was like, "Oh shit, this is real." Well, real,
yeah.
And so I was like, "Okay, I'm in. This is just nuts."
Was it last season that they had the guy who was like fake crying with the eye drops?
Yes.
Was that last season?
Yes.
I forgot about that guy. Yeah. That was when I was like, you know what? I had to give them the slow clap at that point because that was just perfect because it was letting people in on the fact that like, I love the behind the scenes tip of the cap where it's like, yeah, you know that we know that some of these people are just coming on here for clout.
Yeah.
And we're going to expose this guy and make this guy look like a clown.
Yeah. That's what Bravo does.
It's the biggest trap because it's like, to make it further in the show, you have to get engaged. And like those people that are trying to get airtime, you're going to have to get engaged even if you don't like the person. So
yeah.
It's
and you can Again, I'm from Puerto Rico, born and bred. I was like, let's go. This season, I don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to involve this girl.
Yo, I can't lie to you. I'm leaving right now so I can go watch Love is Blind.
So when do the next episodes come out, Timmy?
I don't know.
Okay,
that's bad. Yeah, homework complete, Tim.
There you go. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank me later. Thank you later.
Has anybody seen Barbie yet? Have either of you guys seen Barbie?
I keep telling myself that I'm gonna watch it, and then I just find something else to watch.
I just peeped it. Like it was on. My buddy uploads all these movies illegally. Don't say his name. Don't get fired. Don't get arrested. And he put up Barbie. It was pretty good. Not as good as I thought. Very weird. I like that it was really weird, and to that Ryan Gosling was insane. Like he should win. I think he should win the Oscar.
So what?
For supporting actor. Supporting actor. Yeah. No,
movie,
that's how good. That's how good and weird what he's doing is. It's awesome.
Wow.
So I would say it's good. Check out Barbie. Like, it's definitely got an overt, like, feminist message, like solidarity. Rock on, we love it. But like, it's also very strange. So
I don't
know.
I have a question for you, Mr. Andrew Webster.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tiptoe around how I asked this question because
again, when you were like, oh, you're asking a question that's not going to matter, I'm very interested. When you say you're tiptoeing around something to ask me, I'm very interested.
Set the scene for me in terms of what you might have been partaking in before you were watching. You sat down to watch this Oscar-worthy movie.
Dude, it's not that I was doing that for Barbie. It's dude. I'll sit down and blow a joint before fucking Schindler's List. Okay, like, oh, we're watching Glory. Yeah, I'm gonna take some rips for sure. Doesn't matter what movie, guys.
Notting Hill.
Oh, bro, come on. It's the only way I can get through Notting Hill. Sometimes you gotta, but always. And so, like, I started dating. No, I'll tell you a story. So I started dating my now wife back in Toronto. And one of the first dates we had was going to the movies. We went to the movies and we went to go see the Lego movie. And I told her, we had just started dating. And I was like, babe, okay, so, like, this is my thing. Like, I love going to movies. But before every movie, I like to smoke a joint, hit the pipe or whatever, and pause. And so she was like, okay, like, we were young, right? Like, we were younger. So she doesn't obviously smoke anymore, but like, she was like, okay, I'll have a couple of puffs. And we went to the Lego movie and she fell asleep 2 minutes into the movie. She woke up like 10 minutes later. She was like, what's going on in this movie? And then she ended up loving it. I was like, you missed the first 20 minutes of Lego movie.
And Webby was like, and that's when I knew.
And that's when I knew.
I was in love.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to get her to watch. So she loves, like, Gwyneth Paltrow, my wife. Okay. So have you ever seen The Talented Mr. Ripley?
No.
Pretty unhinged movie, but it's got everybody in it. Like Matt Damon, Jude Law, Kate Blanchett, Philip Seymour Hoffman, but it's pretty twisted movie. I'm trying to drop that one on. I think she's really gonna like it. Okay. It's a good movie recommendation to all the listeners. Barbie and Talented Mr. Ripley. Done. That's all I got.
I don't know when we're ending.
Do you have any more questions?
No more questions.
Keep asking questions.
No more questions, man. That's it.
All right.